Good morning. Thanks for having me here. So my name is Delia Wieser, you already found out, and I'm a lead innovation architect. Because we are a trend research agency, I have to admit we like to give fancy names to our job titles. So I will translate. It actually means that I help companies transform trends into innovation, whether that's building a new strategy, developing new products, or features for their apps. And I usually spend a lot of time with my clients, so a day, 2 or more. Today I only have 45 minutes, so you're going to get a glimpse of what trend-driven innovation is all about. We're going to start with a quick warm-up. Don't worry, you don't have to get up. And I will show you 3 examples of campaigns of products that were funded on Kickstarter. And I'd like you to tell me, who do you think raised the most? Okay? So the first one is the Vol pet carrier. This was inspired by Tesla and the founder's cat. And it's an ergonomic pet carrier. And it has a built-in toy, so you can carry around your cat. It's made of natural materials, and it costs only $37 US. That's the first one. The second one is the Baubax travel jacket. It has 25 features, an inflatable neck pillow, a bottle opener, and other things that you can imagine would be useful when you're on the go. Okay, and the third one is the Oloid. This object was designed and was created by a German sculptor called Paul Schatz in 1929, and this piece is re-edited. It's made of metal, and it's made to just sit on your desk nicely, and you can, every time you feel stressed or so, you just roll it, you look at it, and instantly you feel better. Okay? So I didn't set up any poll on your app, but let's do it with a raise of hands. So who do you think earned the most? Raise your hand if you think the cat, the ergonomic pet carrier, raised the most. Okay, quite a few. Okay, raise your hand if you think the jacket raised the most. Even less than the cat? Okay, or equally? So we have a winner, I think. So who do you think won? Was it the metal object? Okay. Well, it was actually the jacket. 9 million, okay? 9 million for 25 features. And this is the second, this was the second time they founded, so the first time they funded it with 15 features, the second time with 25, and they got 4 million. Number 2 is the metal object, and number 3 is the cat carrier, okay? So I know with all those YouTube cat videos, you might think that people actually want to have more for their pets. But yeah, so this is the business context in which you are running your own businesses, but you are here today to find out the answer to this question, probably. What will your customers want next? So Kickstarter is a great way to find out what people will want next and tailor your products based on that. But what will your customers want next, right? It's the most important question in business, and it's the most difficult question to answer, I think, because the world is always changing. And you're here today because you notice that even though times are good globally, things are always popping up. Looking at the past months and year, we've seen Elon Musk fire Tesla into space. Amazon delivers to the trunk of your car. We've seen delays. We've seen Mike Zuckerberg being hauled in front of the US Senate to explain or to be accountable for the impact that Facebook has on democracy. And we've seen Alibaba smashing through its Singles Day record. 1 billion spent in 1 minute and 25 seconds. Yeah? And we've seen things like this. Do you know what this is? Please shout. Black Friday? Any other opinions? Pokemon Go? It's similar. It's people fighting for Nutella. In France, at an Intermarché, they gave 70% off for Nutella, so people are fighting for it. No matter where we live, every day it feels like a new world. But don't panic. The good news is that despite all this, we're the same old people with the same old human needs. Yeah? And when it comes to trends, because this is the centerpiece of maybe today or maybe just my keynote, change and basic needs are the pillars of trend-driven innovation. Because new trends emerge when change unlocks new ways to serve these basic human needs. So I'll explain what that means. We say, on the one hand, we have change, societal, political, economical, technological change. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And on the other hand, we have basic needs. These don't change as fast or as fundamental as we sometimes think. Can you tell me some of those human basic needs? Food, shelter, so safety. Yeah. So creativity as well, and self-improvement, we're going towards the top of the pyramid. So even though there are innovations hitting the market every day, every minute, every second, they don't change us fundamentally, they just address our needs in new and special ways. So what changes? Because when it comes to innovation, it's all about the change, right? Well, we think at Trend Watching that what changes are only our expectations. There's a constant gap between what we have access to and what we would really like to have. And this gap is actually triggered by innovative companies that launch these new products and services all the time. I have a video that explains this concept a little bit better.
Do you feel that we now, in the 21st century, we take technology for granted?
Well, yeah, because now we live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots that don't care, because this is what people are like now. They got their phone, and they're like, it won't. Give it a second. It's going to space. Can you give it a second to get back from space? Is the speed of light I was on an airplane, and there was internet, high-speed internet on the airplane. That's the newest thing that I know exists. And I'm sitting on the plane, and they go, open up your laptop, you can go on the internet. And it's fast, and I'm watching YouTube clips. I'm in an airplane. And then it breaks down. And they apologize, the internet's not working. The guy next to me goes, this is bull. Like how quickly the world owes him something he knew existed only 10 seconds ago.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what happens to our expectations on a daily basis, triggered by all sorts of experiences and all sorts of products and services we interact with. And the most interesting part about these expectations is that they don't get stuck into one industry or in one place. They actually travel between demographics, between regions, between industries. I'll show you a quick example. This is, if you remember it, it's the Dollar Shave Club. It was launched in 2011 in the US, and it basically is a subscription service for cheap razors. Yeah, they deliver razors at your door every month. But we've seen the expectation for, subscription services for products that are like a commodity spread to other industries as well. So from this small industry to food, we've seen HelloFresh and other companies that deliver recipes and ingredients at your door. We've seen the luxury industry jump on this one as well, so you can subscribe to get a tie, even though no one is wearing one today, as we found out. And you can also subscribe to drive a car. They say, well, you used to buy music too. So every time you'll hear me today speak about examples that don't belong to your industry, don't discard it. Because just think about it. It went in less than a decade from just cheap razors to SUVs. So it can happen that fast. This means we live in an expectation economy, how we like to call it at trend watching, where you're not only competing against the main competitor of your own industry, but you're equally competing against anyone in the world who is setting standards in customers' expectations, whether that's Apple for design or Tesla for sustainability. You are all competing against them. So once people have access to this quality in a certain level, they will want and ask the same thing from you. And during my presentation, please try to look past the ridiculous. This is a Bonds AI. It's a bonsai that gives you life advice. And look past that and try to focus on what each innovation could bring to your business and to your industry. And also look past failure. The most common question we get at trend watching is, yeah, you guys are showing us all these startups and most of them will fail, so how do I know I get inspired from something that is really worth getting inspired by? And I'll address this with a video as well. Seen this video before? Raise your hand if you've seen the video. Yeah, we have a few people. So, did you break your phone screen before? Raise your hand if you did. Yeah, quite many. You've seen this video only 10 seconds ago, some of you for the first time, and I bet you're already asking yourselves, why wasn't it that easy to just change my screen, to slide a new one in? I have to send it or wait and pay a lot of money for it. Well, this is or was Project Ara and the Google phone, which is not going to be implemented anymore. But still, you know, seeing these things trigger new expectations in our heads, and this stay with us. There are a million reasons why a specific innovation will fail or succeed, but that doesn't mean the expectations don't stay with us. So that's what we do at trend watching. We look at all these interesting things that are happening all around the world, and we ask ourselves, what are the expectations that these innovations trigger? And we don't watch consumers, so we don't do this kind of anthropological field work. We don't crunch their data. We just look at innovations. And by spotting these new expectations and transforming them, spotting new patterns actually in consumer expectations, we manage to spot and find new trends. And this is how we define a consumer trend. It's a new manifestation among people in their behavior, in their attitudes, in their expectations of a fundamental human need, want, or desire. Even though it's a long sentence, I hope this makes much more sense after you've seen those basic elements. Change, basic needs, innovations, all come together. And we spot these trends with the help of our network of spotters. We have over 3,000 people sitting all over the world sending us examples on a daily basis, and we're connected via Slack, and we can ask them also targeted questions, and they help us with our client projects as well. And yeah, we publish these trends on a quarterly basis on our website for free, so I encourage you to subscribe to that. And also, if you're interested in receiving one daily innovation in your inbox or in the future on your phone on WhatsApp, just subscribe to our daily innovation feed as well. So that's all for free, but we have to make money somehow. So we have a premium database behind all this, where clients pay a fee to access it, and of course we run workshops, and the highlight of our service is our yearly trend report. We also wrote a book, which you've already found out from Oliver. It's called Trend-Driven Innovation. And we were, after a few years where we thought, let's just tear apart what we do, why we do it, and put it out there in a book. And the essence of this book is what I've been already telling you for the past 10 minutes. To anticipate what people will want next, stop looking at customers and start looking at businesses. So at those innovations that people are lavishing their attention on right now. And if I could put all the things into one Venn diagram, because everyone likes to create Venn diagrams, okay, it looks like this. So you see the elements that I've talked about, basic needs, innovations, drivers of change. This graph actually says that if you're innovating around people's basic human needs, and you're taking a look at what is available out there, so the innovations that have been launched already, you're just going to create more of the same. On the other side, if you are innovating around what is changing, so all those new technologies or the interesting things that are popping up on the market, and you're looking at what is existing already, you're going to create novelties. So fads and things that just people download once and then they don't use again because it doesn't answer any basic human need. So the idea is to pay attention to all these elements when you're coming up with new ideas to hit the so-called sweet spot, to either address an expectation that is existing or even better, go for creating an expectation gap. So create something truly new that triggers a truly new expectation. Okay? All makes sense? Good. So now, with this in our minds, is the basis of working with trends, and we're going to finally hear some trends after all that theory. We have time to look at 4, and because it's all about basic needs, each of these trends will be deeply rooted in their basic needs. So we're going to look at relevance, we're going to look at participation, we're going to look at security and peace of mind. And after each of these trends, we're going to have a light bulb moment, hopefully more light bulb moments and not just one per trend. But the idea would be that that's the moment where you start thinking of where can you apply that trend. And usually at trend watching, when we talk about trend application, we think about these 4 areas. So can a trend create a new vision for your business or for your client? Can you create a new business model? Can you create a new product, a new experience, or a service based on that trend or inspired by that trend? Or can you create a new marketing campaign, advertising, or PR campaign? Okay, trend number 1. We're starting with relevance. This is, of course, the need that we all have to get products that are tailor-made to our own unique person. And more importantly, it's about brands that need to recognize and serve every single customer as an individual. And even though personalization has always been part of the story of consumerism, it changes almost every year. And today, we pair it a lot with data. It's about data-fueled personalization. And the one example that is dear to me and that I think is really good at doing that is Spotify and their Discover Weekly playlist. So what they do is they look at your behavior on the platform. So they look at what music you're listening to and what your friends are listening to, and they suggest new songs that you might like, and they make a playlist every week. I love it. Is anyone using Discover Weekly? Yeah, cool. And people around the world love it too, because look what people say. At this point, Spotify's Discover Weekly knows me so well that if it proposed, I'd say yes. Yeah, so it can even replace a boyfriend. But we're seeing new forms of data emerging, including facial recognition and mood recognition. And these new forms of data are also driving new expectations or new forms of personalization also in physical locations. And don't be fooled by the anger about Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, because it turns out that actually 73% of consumers say that no retailer or service provider has ever communicated with them in a way that felt too personalized. Okay? So the first trend, deep retail, is about smart retailers that know their customers better than customers know themselves via data. And the first example is from China, probably no surprise. MAC, the cosmetic company, created a new store, and it's a new experience, because when you get into the store, you have to log in with your WeChat profile, and you get greeted by an avatar with your name, so it's all a personalized experience from the moment you enter the store. Moreover, you can try all sorts of cosmetic products in a virtual mirror, and you are helped to find the perfect shade. You have this virtual mirror connected to influencers that selected their favorite products. They recommend them to you. You can tailor-make your own palette of colors and 3D print it in the store, and so on. So this idea that you can blur the boundaries between your digital experience and the physical experience. And you can have a bit of that. Can you turn the volume a bit lower, please? You can have a bit of that on your mobile phone, so you don't have to enter a store. So this is Smashbox, together with L'Oreal, they created an app that uses eye tracking to recommend products. So you can try different shades of lipstick, for example, and they know where you're looking at on the screen. And this way, they can recommend you the new products based on what you potentially like. So taking this thought and thinking further, because that's what the examples of innovations are all about. Think about adding discounts or special offers based on that in an instant on your phone. And there are big players in the game who are entering this game. Nike opened a data-driven store for their Nike Plus members, where everything that is in the store is actually tailored or selected, curated by Nike Plus members' behavior online in a digital world. So if people buy more of a certain Nike style, they will have more of that in the store as well. So trying out things and finding out what customers would like doesn't have to be super expensive. And there's one way to do it in a virtual world. This is Luxit Labs. Last year, they won the Best CES Innovation Award. And they pair virtual reality with EEG sensor. And they are able to immerse people into different experiences, and think about it could be like a real store that you want to create and design. So you're designing it in a virtual world, and you're showing it to people to see how they react and what is their emotion, what is their brain activity. Based on the results, based on the insights, you can actually get to work and build that thing. And this deep retail trend applied to advertising. In Brazil, this is an interactive platform door that is installed on their subway. And in this screen, you have cameras that analyze how many people are standing in front of the door, and also what is their mood like, what is their gender, what is their approximate age. And based on that, they offer targeted advertising. Cool, or embarrassing, I don't know. One last thing to say about personalization. 54% of consumers expect to receive personalized discounts within 24 hours of making a purchase, making them known to a brand, and 71% express frustration at impersonal shopping experiences. So there's a lot of room for opportunity there. So there we go, our first light bulb moment. Deep retail, how can you give your customers a hyper-personalized solution based on their unique preferences? Yeah, so this is what will help you think about how to apply this trend. The next trend starts with a really storytelling, or really telling video.
现在是珍珠哥在直播啊，珍珠妈妈给宝宝们开巨无霸棒的啊，巨无霸棒是新品种啊，一棒一珠的新品种啊。我们今天下午和晚上都会开棒的啊，然后要去拍棒的宝宝，现在去拍来得及的，我们会继续给你开的。哇哟，我勒个乖乖啊，我勒个乖乖啊！
So this is the next trend I want to share with you is all about participation, about excitement, and about discovery. And every day you saw Pearl Bro is 25 and he's becoming a really lively online presenter, showing people on social media platform how to, if one of those muscles has a pearl inside. So next trend is all about participation, and participatory commerce has been around for some years because platforms like Kickstarter and Indigo do that very well. So consumers are already accustomed to be involved in this pre-launch phase of a product, but pair that with things that are happening live, and it gets even more exciting. So this is what shop streaming is all about. Live streaming and m-commerce colliding like never before to create an immersive experience that is similar or sometimes even better than the one you have in an actual store. And the first example is from M-Jemmy. This is a shoe brand that launches new styles only via Instagram live stories. So they're partnering with an influencer, and she's showing how these shoes look like on her Instagram live feed, and then prepares the followers for the Monday drop, which is when they actually launch and people can order the shoes. But bigger brands are also jumping on this trend. This is IKEA and Off-White's designer, Virgil Abloh. They partnered to create a new homeware collection. And what he did was to go on YouTube Live with the designs that he made and really get feedback and comments from customers and tailored the actual collection based on this feedback that he got. And then going on the red carpet, this year at BAFTA, we've seen the first AI-powered red carpet stylist. This is how it looks. So there's a Google Pixel 3 camera there that takes pictures of all the stars. Every time this is posted, you can search for a look that is similar to the outfit of one of the stars on the red carpet. And this live streaming thing, it's a thing. There's also new platforms that are popping up. This one is in the US, TalkShop Live. It's a social selling platform that focuses on live streams. So there are people who open a store and they go live to showcase their products, and that's how they sell it. That was last year, but this year Amazon is killing it. They've launched a live shopping stream as well, so this is paired with a special app where the retailers can also get instant insights and advice, so they see who's watching their videos, what are the reactions to it, so they can tailor-make their offering based on that. So shop streaming. What's special about your product or brand or your client's brand, and how can you build a live stream experience around that? All right, trend number 3. Because we've talked a lot about, well, a bit about personalization and about live stream, about being online, and we need to talk about security as well, right? And privacy when it comes to these things. 65% of US and UK consumers believe that AI will destroy their privacy rather than improve it. And over the last decade, we witnessed consumers' trust shift from legacy brands to the more, let's say, solutions that are built by the digital natives. But as it turned out, with all these scandals, that those disruptors are actually to blame as well these days. But after that, then the big change, or the most important change in data privacy regulation happened. The GDPR thing came along, and that really changed things. And not only within Europe, but also we've seen India trying to keep more of their data at home, and we've seen changes in regulations in the US as well. So yes, people are alarmed about what companies do to their data, but there's this privacy paradox, because your customers can't really bear to give up those benefits that we have from sharing our data everywhere. But they would like to have a bit more control. So that's what DataGates is all about. Consumers that welcome new forms of control over their personal data. And the first example is Shiru Cafe. This is about students that opt in and share their data with this cafe in exchange for perks, for free drinks, for free Wi-Fi, and for staying in this place for free and studying. So, of course, this is just sharing their data in order for the cafe, for the company to sell it for advertising purposes. And they're okay with that, as long as they know it's happening and they know they're getting something in exchange. But there's another app, and there's another company that does it in an even more structured way, or an even more powerful way. This is humanity.co, and they created a free app called My 31st, because they believe that data ownership should be the 31st human right. And it basically gives you full control over the data that you generate. And you enter a marketplace with your data, and you can exchange it against certain benefits. Then we have MyVista. This is a platform that helps people to manage personalized experiences. So this platform gives people the power, and travelers in this case, the power to decide which institutions will have access to their data, and instead of trusting hidden algorithms with analyzing their data, they're able to modify their preferences, to edit their preferences as well. And then this is one of my favorite. It's quite a simple one. I've always thought, why doesn't Billa give me access to all the data they're gathering with my loyalty card? I live in Vienna, by the way. So S Group is a supermarket chain in Finland, and they give customers access to their shopping data. So you know what you've bought, where, the nutrition data, and you get insights on your food behavior, right? Food consumption behavior. And we can't talk about data without talking about one of these big ones that we need to blame. And what are they doing for this? This is the question. Well, Facebook launched a program that is now teaching online, it's an online tutorial platform, teaching people to use digital technology in a safe way. So they talk about data privacy, they talk about safety and security online, and they've launched in Singapore, and they hope by 2020 to build these digital discourse skills and spread even more in the years to come. So, data gates. Could you make your data collection modular and optional? Okay. And last trend for today, so we'll end up nicely and hopefully inspired. It's peace of mind. Who doesn't want to have that? And this is an important topic to me. Single-use plastic straws were the big eco topic of 2018, but there's more to that to learn. It's this grab and go mindset, just using things once and throwing them away, that cannot continue for longer. And we've been already warned by the UN that we have 12 years to go and avoid a catastrophe, basically. So the time is now. End of excess is a trend that talks about sustainability, and especially about brands that are reimagining all single-use and ephemeral products. 85% of Britons are fairly concerned about plastic packaging, but just 3% thought the responsibility of dealing with it lays with consumers. That's pretty unfair, right? So yeah, we have a problem, but I can't solve it. Can you do it for me, please? So we need a lot of drastic measures, and we've seen examples all around the world. This is Maya Bay, the beach from The Beach, that movie, which was totally flooded with tourists, and they decided to close it. Just close it. The coral is dying, we're just closing it. We're not letting people come in anymore. So we've seen drastic measures, but also in fashion, where it hurts the most, we've seen interesting examples. This is 4 days. It's t-shirts on a subscription basis. So you can subscribe and you have access to 3, 6, or 10 t-shirts. And every time you think, oh, this doesn't look that good anymore, or maybe the white is getting a bit yellow, you send it back, and they recycle it and make a new t-shirt and send it to you. So everything that they're making is made of materials that already exist, and you are refreshed with a new t-shirt every time you want to have it. The Wally Shop is an online grocery service that delivers zero waste, so everything they deliver is packaging free, and also how they pack it when they deliver it is important, because they would leave the containers there and take it back the next time you order. So nothing is lost. And sometimes I think when it comes to these topics, to the topic of sustainability and single use and so on, education is really important. I still think today not enough people are aware of how important this topic is. So Eileen Fisher is a fashion label. It's a concept store that goes beyond just selling sustainable products and started to educate people how to live more sustainably. So in the store they have classes, movie projections, conferences to teach people what can they do to, well, help with making a better world. And when it comes to e-commerce, we know, right, that things that we deliver is causing a lot of bad emissions. So Etsy started offsetting their shipping emissions. So they're doing all sorts of things, from protecting forests to building wind and solar plants in India to offset the entire emissions that shipping jewelry and vintage furniture is causing all around the world. 78% of consumers will pay a premium for luxury packaging that is produced in a sustainable way. Yeah, that's an important thing, because cost, when it comes to e-commerce and in general, it's very important. So how do you know that people will care? Well, they do. And we found a really nice example of a brand from Finland that is helping us, or can help us with that. This is Repack. It's a returnable and reusable packaging for web stores. So it really looks like this, and it has a Velcro. So it's really sturdy. And then people just pack it and make it like in a small envelope. It's already paid for the postage. So they just put the empty packaging in their postal box, and it gets back to Repack. And then Repack is sending it again to other web stores. So you're not losing anything. So that's end of excess. How can you become a generous and committed brand that is eradicating single use? Because essentially we are, hopefully all of us here, to create a better consumerism. And this guy, do you know who he is? Anyone? We don't know who he is, but we know that he invented this three-part, like, how do you say? Three-point seatbelt, that's how it's called. So his name is Niels Bohlin, and it's estimated that because of the seatbelt, because he created this product, he saved almost 1 million lives until 2016. And that's pretty cool. The question is, what actions are you going to take? And is anyone going to show a slide with your face or with your brand logo on it in 50 years' time? It's up to you. Thank you.